Hey guys, Mike here from TemplarAirsoft.com. Today I'm going to be taking a look at HPA pistols. So Buzz from Just Cause Airsoft sent me over a HPA setup for pistols. He's now offering service of fitting of these valves. Sent me over just to have a look and have a little play. Off the bat, I'm pretty impressed. It's quite a good setup. It does have its drawbacks, but overall it's a pretty good thing. I'll just go over the basics of this type of setup for those of you that don't know about HPA. This setup here, obviously you need a tank. Basically feeds compressed air directly into your magazine through your quick release valve. You can turn it on and off here, and you can also adjust your pressure going through here, which also adjusts your FPS, so you can fine tune your FPS. So the service that Buzz is offering is the fitment of these valves. It's 15 to 17 pounds depending on what type of magazine you've got. Some require a little bit more work than others. But it basically, as I said, turns this magazine into an open-ended air reservoir basically, so you get a live feed straight into here. I know some of you will be looking at this tank and thinking, what the hell do I want to be running around one of these on my back for? Just bear with me, because it does have some major advantages over running green gas, especially for those of you in the UK that run pistol only games and things like that. Okay, so in terms of pros and cons, this does have a couple of major drawbacks. Most obvious one being that you've got to run around with this tank on your back or in some sort of pouch. There's quite a few guys do it, run these sort of tanks in their hydration bladder pouches on their back of their plate carriers, or I've seen guys running them in their dump pouches. It's not heavy at all, but obviously it is just that size that you need to get stowed somewhere. Another drawback to this is the initial outlay in terms of cost. This tank setup, regulator and hose is about £175. Then obviously you need to get it filled. Now it is a lot cheaper, and that's probably the major benefit of this system, which I'll go over in a bit. But the actual outlay of this system is pretty expensive. Obviously you can get this filled up. Being a smaller tank, it's not going to last that long. It does last, obviously it outlasts a green gas can, but in terms of effort for reward, getting this filled up every time you need to get it filled up is going to be a little bit of a pain, especially if you don't have a dive shop near you. So the better option for that is to spend a little bit more and get yourself a dive cylinder. These run at about £80 second hand, and then every 3 or 5 years you have to get them tested. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, because I'm not entirely sure on the legalities and the requirements of that testing. But basically, about £80 for this. The testing's about 40 quid every few years, however often it is. And then you basically you get this filled up. This holds 7 litres. This brings me into one of the major advantages of this system. Is this will hold at least 10 refills of that smaller tank, and to fill this with compressed air costs about £4. That's local prices for around where I live. So £4 to fill at least 10 of these, and this is way more than your average green gas canister that costs about £10. So you're already there. Let's say this was the equivalent of, for argument's sake, one gas canister at £4 a pop. You're looking at, for the same equivalent of gas, 10 of these, you're looking at about £100. £4 to fill that, you're saving 96 quid at least every time you get it filled up. It's not going to take you long to recoup that initial large outlay. One of the other benefits of this system is it doesn't suffer from gas cooldown. Those of you that have used green gas will know when it starts getting colder, especially in the UK, the system starts to suffer in terms of cooldown. Your weapon stops firing, doesn't fire as efficiently, you lose power, your BBs don't travel as far. This, you don't get that. You get no cooldown, and it's really consistent. In terms of FPS consistency, it was hovering with about 10% variation, which is pretty good. You know, it's pretty consistent, but the main benefit is that 0 gas cooldown. You can use this system on super cold days, and you can run your pistol as much as you like. Obviously, for those of you that want to run pistol on like pistol only, or if you play your night games and you just want to run around with a pistol, that's going to be a major benefit. One of the other drawbacks is obviously the connector hose. Obviously, to do a quick mag change, you've got to take this off, disconnect the hose, get your new one on, get it back in, and then carry on. It adds that extra step, so your magazine changes aren't going to be super quick unless you want to run two tanks, but I might be going a bit too far. But as you can see there, it's not that, it doesn't take that much time. Take that off, dump pouch, new mag out, back on, back in. It's not a major difference, and it's quite easy to get yourself into a bit of cover and do that. I'm going to just show you a little demonstration of the gas cooldown for those of you that haven't experienced it and haven't yet bought a pistol or don't run gas pistols yet. I'll show you gas cooldown and I'll show you the efficiency of this system. Okay, so a quick little test to show you the gas cooldown for those of you that aren't familiar with gas blowbacks. That's not. Not even cycling. As you can see there. I don't know if you can see the condensation rising off it. Obviously that's now super cold. The pistol's pretty cold as well. It's not firing enough to even load the next round. Just to show you that is due to the cooldown and not because the gas is empty. I'll just warm this up for a bit, put it underneath the lighting. So that was two magazines, and it's failed basically because the gas has got too cold because I'm expanding it. Basically, as you fire in the gas, the more you fire, the quicker it expands and sort of comes out of the magazine, the cooler it gets. And now it's working. See that now? Again, fire it dry. It's locking back. So that's 2 mags, 20 round mags. Now I'll switch to the Glock. So this is a 40 odd round mag. And I'll fire all of this. I'll load it again, I'll fire it again, you'll see there'll be no cooldown. Load the magazine again. Zero cooldown. That's 2 mags, that's 8 rounds through there, not a single problem. My SIG 226 struggled there with two mags. So there we go guys, that's the HPA setup from Just Cause Airsoft. I'll put a link in the description so you can get in touch with the guys if you want to get this stuff fitted. As I said, £15–70 to get the valve fitted, depending on what type of magazine you got. And as you saw, it's a really efficient system. A little bit of a drawback, the initial outlay and cost, and obviously carrying that tank around. But the benefit in terms of efficiency, and obviously you're going to be saving a ton of money eventually once you recoup all those costs. You know, £96 saving every time you fill that tank up. You know, if you use pistols a lot in evening games, CQB games and things like that, you know, something that you might want to start looking at. Really good system. I really like it, something I'm going to be looking at getting. If you run HPA setup on either a Polar Star Long or normal gas blowback or conversion on your pistol like this, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you love it or if you loathe it. Leave your feedback in the comments, and thanks for watching.